As you can tell from the intro, it's been a long 2 years. I've got a lot of explaining to do, and what I've done is I've compiled all the pictures and videos of the last 2 years of the car and everything I've done with it. I have turboed it. It's been running for the last 2 years. I took it down again probably a couple months ago. The flywheel was hurt, so I went ahead and pulled that. As you know, I had the 80 behind it. That's no longer. I'm going with a new transmission. And so I decided to fix a few of the things that I didn't like about the car. In a second, you'll see how quickly that escalated to
an entire build again.
I have all these photos and videos I'm going to show on my phone as I go. I'll show them right here next to me of what has happened the last 2 years of going through the process of tuning it, all the testing, the street driving, go to the track, breaking it, fixing it, almost setting it on fire, actually setting it on fire, frying the ECU twice. I kick myself in the ass all the time. I have had people ask me all the time for the last 2 years, when am I going to post the next video? When am I going to post the update video? And my sincerest apologies. I thought I had it in me to film the whole process, but at the time learning how to weld, I practiced welding for probably 4 to 6 months before I even attempted to do the first bead on the car, because I wanted to make sure it was right. You know, this is something I want to run for a very long time. I want to make sure it's structurally right. I want to make sure I know what I'm doing before I end up putting, potentially my life or my friend's life in danger. But I had a few issues with the filming, learning how to weld. I was watching YouTube videos. I had friends helping me on the settings with the welder, all that kind of stuff. And I got in over my head. I didn't mind, the editing part, but I take my time editing. I try to make my videos nice. I don't want to put out just low quality trash. I spend hours on editing, and even after I think I'm done, I'll find a few things to tweak here and there. I'll want to add a few things. That kind of got turned into an issue because trying to work on the car, learn to weld at the same time, trying to use the, say, 5 hours a day I had after work to, practice welding. I don't know how I would have juggled, editing and filming at the same time, stopping, changing batteries, stuff like that. That's definitely going to change. I'm picking up, I've had all the parts to finish the car now, but I've been trying to get settled in my new home. I wanted to make sure that I did this update video where you're caught from January 9th of 2019. I want to make sure you're caught up from there all the way, everything that's happened to this date. So that way I could pick up where I left off. I missed a lot, I know. But from now on, I want to film everything. I want to film, step by step on everything. I'll go ahead and show you how the car sits right now. So as you can see, a few things have changed. Let's go ahead and go over it. So here's the turbo. It is an 80mm T4 flange. I have the intake off the car, and as you can tell, there's no wiring whatsoever. There is wiring in the car, but it is stuff that I've completely removed everything, all the body harness. All of this is an extra wire harness that I'm gonna tweak and build for my car. I want to do bare minimum for all the wiring. I have a solid steering shaft with a detachable wheel. So as you can tell, a few things have changed, I guess, from the last video, but I'm going to go ahead and start going through all these videos and pictures and catch you up to date with everything. So first off, the picture is, I believe, where we left off. It's where I just pulled all the interior. It was intentionally going to go ahead and do the cage. I was going to have my dad do it. He moved, I think, 3 times in the last 2 years, so it was really hard for him to have free time to help me do the cage. Of course, I was impatient. I went ahead and put the car together like always. I'm pretty confident that I can go ahead and do the cage myself. I've had months and months and months and months of practicing with welding. I was putting in 5 to 6 hours a day constantly. I was in a tank top, shorts, and flip-flops in the garage. I'm confident that I can do it. I may not do the full 12-point cage, but at minimum, I'm probably going to do the 10-point. Next up is the condition that I got the headers in, because I think in the last video I was going to use like the eBay style or CX Racing, I'm not sure. These are factory 5.3 truck manifolds. I use some rust remover, which I filmed a video on how to do this, how to remove the rust and make it look really nice. My friend Rusty over at Dirt Metal Customs, he showed me this. It's like $40 a bottle, and literally overnight the rust just disappears. I used that, let them soak for I think 2 days. I didn't have to scrub them nothing. I pulled them out, done, look brand new. So right here is the very first beads I did on mild steel. I have a Alpha TIG 201 XD TIG welder. I just went ahead and skipped MIG welding, jumped right into TIG. I had 0 TIG welding experience and literally nothing of MIG welding experience. I wouldn't even call it experience. I learned everything from watching YouTube videos, asking around on Facebook, asking my friends that weld for a living. I started getting it down. I started laying consistent beads, and I practiced for, like I said, 4 to 6 months or so before I even laid the first bead on the car. Here's the welding setup I have. You can see I have a ghetto little, I guess, picnic table. I was using my speaker to sit on. I kept all my stuff in this little box. I mean, I had to pull my mom's car out. I was living with her at the time. Get all set up. It would take like an hour just to get set up, move the car out, practice a couple beads. I would work as far in the night as I could, and then I would have to pack everything back up, put it in front of the car, pull the cars back in because I had work the next day, and it was just an absolute nightmare. I wish I would have had a shop. I wish I would have had all this room like I have here now. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. You work with what you got. Here's the V-bands TIG welded to the headers. The headers are mounted, or exhaust manifolds, whatever you want to call them. I have my radiator in. I went ahead and notched the core support and set it straight up and down so I'd have room for the turbo. My buddy Big Rob from Big Rob Entertainment, he showed me this little, I guess, seal that you could put around and make it look really nice. Right here is where I was using painter's tape bucket, and I set my merge, I guess the T4 merge, whatever you want to call it, with the wastegate, so I can kind of get an idea of where I want to mock up and sit the turbo. So here's my coolant reservoir. I took the factory one out. I expected to be this small little flat piece that the battery sat on. I had no idea that it was this gigantic hunk of shit. I bought a cheap little Jegs unit, and it works perfectly fine. I've overheated the car, had it all go in the overflow, and I literally just went over there, cracked the valve, filled the radiator back up, put it back on my zip ties, on the road. Here's some more pictures of me mocking up the hot side. I started using sheet metal tape. The painter's tape didn't work whatsoever, especially whenever I went to tack weld it. If I went to tack weld it, it would literally just catch on fire. I went ahead and just kind of kept doing ideas. I played around with this for weeks before I actually got comfortable how I wanted it, because I didn't want to have to do all this again. I do not want to do that. Here's a little cheap Harbor Freight grinder I got for grinding tungsten. I saw it in a YouTube video. I use this so much. I don't know how many times I dipped the tungsten, like against the filler. I don't know how many times I dipped it in the bead. It's gonna happen. You can see here how I had to pile all this shit. I had 0 room. If I took something off, I had to find somewhere else to stash it, whether it be on the car, in the car, behind the car. Her entire kitchen was literally just the interior of my car up until I moved in here. Here, I have it tacked welded already. I figured I would start one side, work my way over. I wish I would have worked from the driver's side to the crossover first because of the tight bends and how many pie cuts I had to do. I should have did that first, but you know, I figured it was easier to just do a few pieces, have it simple, get that ready to where it held up, and then I could just kind of go in there, cut, test fit, you know, whatever. Here's a picture of the gap that I had to do. I believe this is for the driver's side. The way I went through and figured out what pie cut, I didn't have any calipers or anything like that. I've never had to do anything like this. I took a piece of tape, I put it on there and rubbed my finger across it to where it got the indentation of the pie cut, took off the aluminum tape, cut it out with a knife, did it with a marker or whatever, placed it over another pipe, cut that out with my angle grinder, and I took that, put it in place, and I would tack weld that, and that's what would complete the little bend. And then we moved forward to the crossover, almost done for the first time, I think. I think I changed it
3 times.
The welds are average, I guess. So we moved forward to, I think, the final welds of the entire crossover for the first time. I had my lovely wife help me. It was a pain with the area I had. I didn't really have a vise or anything to hold it. I didn't have clamps or anything like that. I had a few, but they weren't enough to hold the entire weight of that crossover. So she came out there,
Alright guys, we're going to end the video right there. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of the long-awaited catch-up. In the next video, we cover the first startup, the first test drive, and the very first few test hits with the new turbo setup. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future updates on the Evil SS Camaro build. And as always, we keep it A1 at J1 since day one.